I never meant for it to happen. Falling in love with your sister's boyfriend is the kind of betrayal that's hard to justify, let alone forgive. But feelings, messy and uncontrollable, have a way of taking root where they shouldn't. Started the day Ao came over for dinner. My sister, Titi, beamed as she introduced him to the family. He was everything anyone could want, tall, charming, with an easy laugh that lit up the room. But it wasn't just his looks or charisma, it was the way he listened, how he seemed genuinely interested in everyone's stories, including mine. First, I convinced myself it was harmless admiration. Ao was kind to everyone, and I was no exception. He'd ask about my art projects, even offering suggestions for my sketches. His encouragement made my heart flutter, but I pushed those feelings aside, reminding myself he belonged to Titi. My sister was my best friend, my confidant, the person who always had my back. How could I let her down like this? But the more time I spent with Ao, the harder it became to ignore my feelings. The way he'd look at me sometimes, holding my gaze just a second longer than necessary, it felt like a secret only we shared. I hated myself for noticing. Hated myself even more for hoping. One rainy afternoon, everything changed. Titi was out running errands, and Ao stopped by to drop off her laptop. I invited him in, trying to keep things casual, but the air between us was thick with tension. We ended up in the living room talking about everything and nothing. Then he said it, "You're different, you know that?" His voice was soft, almost hesitant. "Different how?" I whispered, afraid of his answer but desperate to hear it. "You make me feel things I shouldn't." My heart slammed against my ribs. The words hung in the air, heavy and dangerous. I wanted to pretend I didn't understand, but I did. I felt the same way. Before I could respond, the front door opened and Titi walked in, her laughter filling the house. Ao and I sprang apart like guilty children, our unspoken confession shattering into a million pieces. That night, I lay awake, guilt and longing warring within me. I knew what we had was wrong, knew I had to bury my feelings and move on. But the heart doesn't follow rules, and every time I saw him, I felt myself falling deeper. The days that followed were a blur of avoidance and stolen glances. I threw myself into my art, sketching until my fingers ached, hoping to drown out the chaos in my head. But no matter how hard I tried, Ao was always there, a shadow I couldn't escape. One evening, Titi invited me to join them for a movie night. I almost said no, but her excitement was infectious. "Come on," she teased. "It'll be fun. Ao's even picking the movie. You know he has great taste." I forced a smile, nodding. "Sure. Why not?" Sitting on the couch between them was torture. Every laugh, every shared look between them felt like a dagger to my heart. Yet amidst the pain, I saw something beautiful. The way Ao's eyes softened when he looked at her, the genuine care in his voice when he asked if she was comfortable. It was a stark reminder that no matter what I felt, they belonged together. That night, I made my decision. I couldn't let my feelings ruin what they had. Titi deserved happiness, and Ao, as much as it hurt to admit, was part of that happiness. The next time I saw Ao, I avoided his gaze. When he tried to start a conversation, I kept my answers short, polite but distant. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Slowly, the tension between us began to fade, replaced by a cautious friendship. Months later, Titi announced their engagement. The family erupted in cheers, and I joined in, hiding my heartbreak behind a smile. As she hugged me, whispering, "I'm so happy you're here for me," I knew I'd made the right choice. Some loves are meant to remain unspoken, buried deep in the corners of our hearts. And while it hurt to let go, I found solace in the knowledge that I'd chosen my sister, chosen family, over a fleeting dream. Because in the end, love isn't just about what you feel. It's about what you're willing to sacrifice.